the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Y'all ready for this?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Ovol TV session. I'm really excited for today's episode. We have a special guest, but first, let's go with intro. So, my name is Christian. I'm a youth worker here for Ovol. So, Ovol's a youth-led initiative. We have our co-host here, Noah. So, I support youth like him in our Ovol leadership initiative. So, I'll hand it over to Noah.
Yeah, my name is Noah. I'm a youth leader at Ovol Leadership Program. I learned a lot there. It's an anti-bullying program, so we don't really support things that have things to do with bullying. And yeah.
Yeah, so last week we had our first episode we talked about bullying. So we had a little bit of technical issues, I'm not going to lie. It's lost somewhere up in the cloud, but we made sure you can double check this episode's not getting lost in the cloud. Just cuz our special guest, he has a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge in what he does, and we really just want to share that, and he wants to share that with the youth. So Noah, I think it's time to welcome him aboard. So let's welcome Carlos up in here.
Hey, what's good, everybody? How's everybody doing today?
Pretty good, man. So yeah, like what I was telling Noah, super excited to have you on. And you know what? Like, take it away. The floor is yours. So
Hey,
introduce
I'm
yourself.
pumped to be here. I'm pumped to be here. First of all, I just wanted to say that it's dope what you guys are doing. I really do love the vibe and love everything you guys are doing for the youth and whatnot, because there is not a lot of people out here trying to help the youth really grow, and you guys are just doing an amazing thing. But yeah, so I guess we're gonna start off by just me telling a little bit about my life, how I grew up, how I started getting into being a business owner, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so growing up, I grew up with one parent. I grew up with a mother and a sister, so it was just always me as the man of the house. Growing up, I used to play soccer. Soccer was my main thing. That's a fun fact, actually. Barbering was never supposed to be in my vision. I was actually supposed to be a soccer player. Um, when I was younger, I started playing by the age of soccer when I was 3, and since then, because I'm South American, so soccer's been in my blood, literally. Like, my mom told me that she felt me kicking, and like before when I was a kid, and she's like, yeah, "That's how you're gonna play soccer." But yeah, so soccer was my thing when I was younger. I was playing seriously professionally from 16 to about 18. I was playing in Europe. Um, so kind of leading into how I went into barbering, it was grade 12, I believe, at the end of grade 12. And when I was younger, I used to kind of, I was not on the right path as a young adult. I used to get into a lot of trouble as a kid, and I didn't really have any guidance. So soccer was kind of my only way to kind of help me get out of the trouble that I was in as a youth. And I remember at the end of the day, my goal was to graduate high school, and there was a point in time where I wasn't going to graduate high school. I had in my mind I wasn't supposed to graduate high school.
Mm.
I was just going to go down the same path as all my other friends, which is not a really good path. Um, but I ended up having an opportunity in grade 12 to go play soccer in Europe. But the goal that I needed to do was I had to graduate high school. So within the last 5 months of school, instead of going outside my area and hanging around with different people, I just used to go to school, go to soccer practice, and come home. And I would spend a lot of time at home. So whenever I was at home, I was a YouTube guy. I always used to watch a lot of YouTube.
Mm.
I don't really have a long attention span. So 15 to 20 minutes. Hello?
Yep, you're still there. So go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. So 15 to 20 minutes. That's what I like to watch. And one day I was watching just a bunch of videos, and then a barbering video popped up. It was by this guy named Chris Basio, who is my mentor, like that I look up to, that I fully started learning how to cut hair from.
Hmm.
But I remember I seen a barbering video. I'm like, what do I have to lose? So I clicked it and I watched one, and then I watched another one, and then I watched another one, and another one. And 2 hours later, I'm just sitting in the exact same spot watching just hair cutting videos. And I'm like, you know what? I have soccer practice soon. I don't look the greatest. I'm like, let me try and go to Walmart and get some clippers. So the same day, I went to Walmart and I grabbed a pair of Walmart clippers. And the story goes from there. So I went to
Yeah.
soccer practice, and then everybody made fun of me and whatnot. And then I remember that same night I came home and I spent like 3 hours just making sure that my haircut was like decent enough to go out. And ever since that day, I started asking my friends, like, hey, man, let me cut your hair. I started cutting hair for free. I started doing it. At first, I started doing it in my basement. I was cutting hair on a barbecue chair. And sometimes I use a garbage bag. Sometimes I didn't, depending if I had some or not.
Yeah.
But very humble beginnings. So I was just, and I ended up going over to Portugal. After I graduated, I ended up going over to Portugal to play. So I played in Portugal for a full year. I was in there playing for a first division team. And honestly, that's where I gained my love for barbering, because when I thought I was in Portugal to play soccer, I ended up doing more hair cutting more than I did soccer. So
Wow.
over there, I would train 3 times a day, in the morning, the afternoon, the nighttime. So each practice is about an hour, hour and a half. But that means there's still a full like 12 hours throughout the day. So I would literally watch and cut everybody on the team. I would cut the coaches. I would do anything to get my hands on a pair of clippers on a head. And I didn't realize, I didn't even understand, but slowly I started realizing that I started getting more of a passion for barbering instead of playing soccer. So after a year, I ended up coming back home to visit my family for Christmas and whatnot. And I was still playing soccer, but I ended up getting injured. I ended up injuring my knee, and I didn't end up going back to Portugal. So within that time, I was down. Like I didn't have no motivation or anything, because I thought at that time soccer was going to be my way out. It was going to be my way to success. So I sat there, and I was 18 years old at the time, and I sat there, and 18 is a crucial age, because you're fresh into adulthood. That's where it's like you have so many options to choose. You feel like you're supposed to go down a certain path, and
Yeah.
at that moment in my life, I felt like that path was just blocked, and I had no path to go to. So for the first month that I was back and that I didn't go like play or anything like that, I stayed at home all the time, and I was just sitting with myself. And there was this one day where I asked myself, okay, what am I going to do with my life? And I gave myself 3 options. I gave myself 4 options. It was either I went to school, but I didn't know what I wanted to go to school for. And I knew that me as a person, I didn't want to necessarily go back to school. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It wasn't for me. So I cut school out. And I was like, I can go work a regular job, a 9 to 5. But deep down inside, I was never that type of person. I was always a hustler. I always found a way to make money. I always found a way to provide for my family, because like I said, I was the man of the house. So I cut that out. And then it was either going back to the old life that I used to live when I was younger, which I did not want to do, because I didn't want to put myself in that situation. I didn't want to put myself in harm, my family in harm, anything like that. So I cut that out. And the last thing that I said was, maybe I can cut hair. And back in then, because I'm 21 years now. I'm 21 years old now. Back like maybe 3-4 years ago, haircuts were like $15, maybe even $12. I used to get haircuts for $12,
Yeah.
So, back then, I was like, damn, like $12 a haircut. Like, and my mom, she even asked me, what do you want to do? And I told her, I'm like, I want to be a barber. And she's like, but you're going to be making $12 a haircut.
Mhm.
And I was like, what you're not understanding is I cut hair for a full year for free. And I love doing it.
Yeah.
So I sat down and I asked myself, I'm like, if I can have this passion with me doing it for free, imagine if I can create some type of financial wealth for myself, for my family. And then that's when from that day forward, I was like, I'm going to exploit this as much as I can. And since then, um, I started off cutting in my basement. I was charging $5 for a haircut, and I was literally doing everything that I can to get everybody into my chair. I was going out into the street, giving out business cards. I had this like the Brazycuts shirt I had a different one at the time. I was going anywhere, the gym, the grocery store, everywhere, telling people, messaging people, and slowly it started building up. I eventually did end up going to work at a barbershop. The first barbershop I actually worked at was pretty far. I live by Dufferin and St. Clair. So the first barbershop that I worked at was actually all the way in Scarborough.
Oh, jeez.
So I had to travel every single day. I was working 7 days a week at this time at 18 years old. And I had to travel about an hour and a half to get there on the train. So every single day, an hour and a half, getting there and back. I start from 9 in the morning and I finish about like 9 at night. So I'd be getting home pretty late. And the same thing repeated. And that was my first barbershop. I worked there for a couple months. It was actually pretty discouraging because the first barbershop I actually worked at, my first month paycheck was only $50. Crazy to believe.
What do you
How
think
much
about
hours
that?
did you work?
Pardon me?
How much hours did you work?
Every day I was doing at least 15 haircuts.
And they only give you $50?
The owner only gave me $50. And I sat there and I literally almost started crying. I was just like,
I can
how is this even
imagine.
possible? Obviously, I ended up discussing it with the owner and he ended up paying me a little bit more. He ended up giving me $500, but still, I was like, at that point in my life, I knew I was getting ripped off, but I was just like, you know what? I was like, I'm going to ride the journey. I'm going to see what goes with this because I'm not just going to give up right now. Because I could have easily been like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm going to go work another job. But I was like, you know what? I love this so much. I'm going to keep going with it. The money doesn't even matter. So after that, I worked at a couple shops. That shop I stayed at for a couple months. And then I ended up coming back to my basement for another couple months, still building up my clientele. And then I ended up working at another barbershop. And it was a really good experience. It was really dope. The barbers there, the owner ended up becoming one of my mentors that helped me throughout my life and through my journey. And he was the one that actually pushed me to go to hair school. So I actually went to hair school for a little bit. I dropped out. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't graduate. I dropped out. And the reason being was because I thought I needed a barber or a hairstyling license to open up a barbershop. But in Ontario, there's no such thing as a barber license. So once I found out that I didn't need it, I felt like I wasn't really growing at hair school, so I ended up dropping out. Now that's something that I don't regret, but I can tell anybody, and even for myself, that I kind of do not wish, but kind of hope that I would have finished that because it would have made me a little bit stronger in some aspects of life. I would say, especially when it comes to patience. But you live and you learn, right? So I went to hair school, I dropped out, and then I came back to my basement. And I always kept coming back to my basement. I don't know why. The basement was just the safe spot for me. So I ended up coming back to the basement, still building up my clientele. At this point, I was charging like $20 a cut, and I was getting busy. Like people started hearing the name Brazycuts, and everyone was just coming, hitting me up, messaging me, I need cuts. So it started going well.
And how old were you at this point?
I was about 19 years old.
19, okay.
I was 19, midway in my 19s. I was gonna get to my early 20s soon. So I was 19, still working out of my basement, and then I worked at one last barbershop. And it's funny because every time I worked at a shop, I always sat there and asked myself, like, what's the purpose of me working at this barbershop? And I asked myself, am I gonna really picture myself working here? And every single time the answer was no. And the more shops I worked at, the stronger the feeling of I need to own something of my own. I want to own something of my own became stronger in my heart. And it was not only until the last barbershop that I worked at, which was only a month. So I worked at a barbershop. It was downtown. It was, I don't know if you heard of something called The Path.
The Path?
Yeah, it's The Path. It's downtown. Very, very nice. So I'm not used to this. I'm not used to the white collar look. I wasn't used to it. But the reason why I went there was because I wanted to put myself in a situation where I would be uncomfortable. So I was just like, okay, the only way I could be uncomfortable is if I go or if I do something that I never done before. And cutting hair, I was always good with cutting curly hair. I was never really good with cutting long, straight hair. So I went to this barbershop to learn from them because I was like, I need to be able, if I want to own my own barbershop, I need to be able to learn how to cut everything so that when anybody walks into the shop, I know how to take care of them. So I took 2 courses within the same month. Each course was 2 days and it was $1,200. And that was
Jesus.
literally all the money that I had. That was all the money that I had from the last year that I was cutting hair. I literally went broke doing it. But I was like, you know what? I put my foot down and I'm like, this is gonna help me in the future. As much as I don't want to go broke, this is going to help me in the future. So I stuck with it. And then after the class that I took was actually at the barbershop that I worked at. So after the class, I went up to the owner and I said, hey, like I'm trying to work with you guys. I really think I could grow. I think it could be an amazing opportunity for me and for you. And he was like, yeah, sure, dope. So he ended up bringing me onto that shop, and I worked there for a month. And it was another discouraging moment because um, there was a lot of very business suited people like there, and I was young at the time, and my personality is totally different from the white collar, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm still respectful, but it was just totally different. So I remember the first day I was actually there, I went to the cafeteria to hand out business cards, and I almost ended up getting arrested. Yeah,
How?
getting arrested for handing out business cards. They thought that I was trying to steal from people's pockets and
No
wallets.
way.
Yeah, it was honestly, it was very discouraging.
Yeah.
And after that day, I didn't want to go back there. Um, but like again, I told myself, this is just another bump in the road.
Hmm.
Like you either gonna let this stop you or you're gonna let this push you forward. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna face my fears and I'm just gonna keep going back. And I stayed there for a whole month. But like I said, when I was there, I really realized that no matter where I go, I'm never gonna be satisfied unless it's my own.
Mm.
So after that month, it didn't end up working out. I ended up parting my own ways, and once again, I came back to my basement. And the only difference is when I came to my basement this time, I literally wrote it down, and I told myself, the only time I will step foot in another barbershop is when it's my own. And when I wrote that down, it made me turn into a different person. It made me turn into a different animal. That whole year that I worked, I was literally like, I'm going to push so hard so that I'm able to open up my own barbershop. And that whole year, I was cutting almost every single day. I built up my clientele to the point where I was booked out like a week and a half in advance, cutting out of my basement. I didn't have no street view. I didn't have nobody. It was all from just putting in the work, people like recommending me, my service, everything like that. And at that point, I just turned 20, and I was like, the pandemic actually started happening, and my sister and my mom were actually probably my biggest motivator in me opening up my own barbershop because I always wanted to, but when the pandemic started happening, everyone was telling me no, no, no. But I was like in the back of my head, I'm like, when everybody's saying no, maybe I should say yes. And I remember talking to my mom and my sister, and I was like, what do you think is the best thing to do? And they're just like, when everything opens up, the first thing people are going to do is get haircuts.
Hmm.
And it doesn't really matter where they go, how they find it. They're gonna find the place that's most open and that looks nice, that looks decent.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, and I got to work, and I ended up building my barbershop in 3 weeks, and I opened up July 7th,
Okay. So wait, July 7th of last year, 2020?
2020. 2020.
Oh,
Jeez.
that's crazy.
Yeah. So
Okay.
technically our shop's been up for about 6 to 7 months, but we've only been running for about 3 months because we've been shut down.
Yeah,
Hmm.
with COVID. Wow. So, man, that alone it shows the passion, determination, and the dream, right?
Mm.
During those times, because even COVID, unfortunately, a lot of business had to shut down, go and bankrupt, all that stuff. But here, you're saying that was the year. That was the year for you to start. And from what I've heard, because we've been connected through one of my colleagues, that what you're doing is, how she painted it to me. I'm like, okay, wow, like this guy is big and he's a young guy. So Mad respect. So yeah, so that's why a big reason why I wanted you on to, people to hear your
Yeah.
story. And 2020, that is crazy. What do you think,
Yeah.
Noah?
Me? That's just like unbelievable. You should like be proud of yourself, big time.
Honestly, sometimes I don't give myself enough credit. I'm so hard on myself. But that's just because the way I was always raised up. I was always raised up to, like I had to be the provider. So no matter what, when things didn't work out, I had to find a way to make it work out.
Mm.
And for me, like the whole reason why people ask me like, why are you doing this at such a young age, And it's because of everything I stand by. Like the simple fact that like I see my mom like working so hard every single day at the job that she loves to do, but at the same time is not what she really loves to do. It makes me work harder because I want my mom to be able to not have to worry about paying the bills. I want my
Mhm.
sister to have the car that she wants to have. I want my kids to be able to have a father in their life that will come and pick them up and not have to be like, oh, I can't come and see you because I have to work. I don't want to do that. So for me, it's more of just like my reasoning because of the things that I need to work on to grow my shop and grow my life.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, definitely. And I think it's, those key small principles, they really do go a long way. Like what you're sharing in your story is, although, you faced these obstacles in life, through school wasn't your thing, or you did the hair school, and you weren't really feeling it, or even with your employer that wasn't paying you as much. Those are obstacles that even people face in life, right? It's like, I want to do this is my passion, but I have to go through this path that might not necessarily be for me, and it's already obstacles there, right? So usually it discourages people. But just hearing it from you, it's like, yes, there's obstacles, but if you know where you want to go and you see yourself there, you're just gonna push through those obstacles. And that's something, I try to tell the youth at Oval is, life is hard, but when you have that support system around you, it makes it better.
Yeah.
So your family, that your mom, your sister, they were there for you, supporting you. Hey, and your basement's the best
Yeah.
support system you had, man.
And like for me, because my mom is like my superhero. I see how hard my mom puts in work every single day. She makes me want to grind harder each and every single day. And same as my sister. Unfortunately, there are people that don't have that support system.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the type of advice that I give that people is, what you have to understand is you need to be your best friend because you spend the most time with yourself. No one else is going to spend as much time with you as you do. So now the way society is built up, it's built up for everybody, especially younger kids, to think negatively about themselves.
Mm.
Whenever they're handing in a group project, whenever they're, you know what I mean, whenever they want to talk to a girl, whenever they just want to do something, the first thing that they first go to is, it's not going to work out, or nah, man, you're not cool enough to do that.
Mm.
You have to ask. I always tell the kids, you always have to ask yourself, if your best friend came and talked to you and told you something like, hey man, I really want to talk to this girl. What do you think I should do? Are you gonna tell your best friend, nah man, you're not good looking enough, you're not cool enough? You're gonna tell your best friend, no man, do it. You got it.
Yeah.
Come on, like, bro, you're gonna
Mhm.
amp them up. You're gonna get them hyped. You have to be the same hype man for yourself, right? You have to do that for yourself because no one else is gonna do it for you.
Mm.
Not everybody has the same support system as other people. Some people, they don't have the mother that's gonna be there for them. They might have the father, but the father might be working all the time, or they may not have the brother or sister that's gonna help them out, or the best friend, right? So I always tell the younger, especially everybody in general, you have to be your best friend before you start doing anything else.
Yeah, 100%. And especially goes with, you got to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, things are not going to get done. People can believe in you, but it always starts with, like, yourself, like, are you
You
going to
always have
take
to just
the first step forward?
Yeah. Like I just posted a video and the video was just about just starting it. And everybody thinks that they need to have the best platform or the best kind of mechanics or tools or things to start something. But I literally say you have to start it because nobody cares about how you started. Everybody only looks at the finished product.
Mm.
Nobody really cared about me when I was cutting in the basement for $5. People started saying, "Hey, Brazycuts, like I want to come meet you. I want to come talk to you. I want to come do it when I have my barbershop." right? I always tell people, it doesn't matter on how you start it. It's just about starting it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you have the most followers. It doesn't matter if you have, the best phone, the best camera, all the money that you need. If you don't know how to work with the basics, you'll never know how to work with the most expensive things. You know what I mean? You'll never know how to do that.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
It's the important things. For example, it's those small things that make the best and the big impact, right? You don't need the most expensive equipment out there. So it doesn't even matter for like if someone likes doing music, you don't need a music studio, man. Like if you nowadays phones are enough.
oh my God. Listen, the
Photography, same thing,
iPhone is
right?
more powerful.
Yeah.
The iPhones, the way they're built up is it's crazy. It's ridiculous, like it's on a whole nother level, man. But one thing I kind of wanted to touch on was like another whole reason why I wanted to kind of do this at such a young age was because I wanted to show the youth and let the youth know that you're never too young or old to do something in life. Right? You're never too young to open up a business. You're never too young to go for your dream. At the end of the day, you have to have a vision for it. As long as you have the vision for it, the vision will drive you. Like one quote that I always live by is, "A vision must be visible, or it's just a dream, and everybody dreams." So when it came to opening up my barbershop, one thing what I actually did was I made sure that I literally did a full plan, but I made it visible. So on the front picture of how the shop looked like, where the space was before my shop was, I took a picture of it and I wrote my shop name on it and I printed it and I posted it on my wall. And when I did that, it made it feel like I was just that much closer to getting it. And it gave me a little bit more motivation. It gave me a little bit more push. So the whole reason why I also did it, like I said, was because I wanted to show the youth that at the end of the day, you can do it at any age. You don't have to go through life, be 34 to open up your own business. You don't have to do that. As long as you have the drive and the passion, everything will work out.
Yeah.
And hey, I always told myself, if it doesn't work out, at least I tried.
Yep.
Mhm.
You gained
That's
something
true.
valuable. You really didn't lose anything, right? You gained experience, knowledge, and ways to move on.
Because I could go, even if, let's say for instance, which I know it's not going to, but even if my barbershop doesn't work out, at least I could say I opened up a business at 20 years old. I don't know a lot of people that say they could do it.
Mm.
You know what I
It's
mean?
not
And pardon me?
that's not easy. It's like it takes
It's
time.
it's not easy, but it's not as hard either. It's a lot of just determination and just literally the passion.
hmm
One thing I tell like especially kids is like, or the younger youth is, if you guys don't know what you want or you don't know like how to find your passion, just do things. Like start doing a bunch of things, work a bunch of jobs, learn different traits. If you're in one job and you're like, I don't like it, work another job. At the end of the day, a minimum wage job may seem like it's just a minimum wage job, but every job you gain something different. I worked at a couple shops. I did a couple jobs before I actually started cutting hair, or even when I was playing soccer. I worked at a mechanic shop for a little bit. I worked at a grocery store for a little bit, and I worked at a shoe store for a little bit.
Mm.
And all these places helped me become and became the man that I am today. Because when I was at the shoe place, I learned how to sell. I learned how to talk to people. That's something that I have to do daily. I have to sell. I have to sell myself. I have to sell myself. I have to sell my products. I have to sell my barbershop to people. When it came to working at grocery stores, I had to learn how to be organized. I had to stack all the stuff. I had to make sure that everything was in place. That's the same thing for my shop. I have to make sure that everything's in place, that all my supplies are on time, like everything is clean, making sure that the shop is nice, everything is in order. And then when it came to working at a mechanic shop, honestly, when I worked in the mechanic shop, it was just doing the work, getting dirty, like literally, like working long hours. That was it. That's what I do. At the shop that I work at, like my shop, I'm there from 9 in the morning, sometimes till 11 at night.
Mm.
Right? I work a lot, but from all those things that I did, it helped me to become the man that I am today. So when it comes to the youth not knowing how do I find my passion, how do I find this, you just gotta learn. You gotta do everything possible. Do as much. If you can get a job while you're young, do it. It doesn't matter if it's part-time, full-time. You got to go through the process. That's the whole point of life, is to just go through the process.
Yeah. What do you think, Noah? What are your
Yeah,
thoughts? I want to know
uh,
what's going on.
that's true. That's true. I can't relate to that because I'm still like a young kid. You know what I mean? But
Well,
like,
where are you at in life, Noah?
hmm?
Where are you at in life? Like with everything that do you have a hobby that you're trying to do? Do you have something that you really like? Are you just kind of exploring or just living life?
Like me, I'm an explorer right now. Cause like I'm
Yeah.
14. I'm still growing. But you know,
Okay.
one day God will take me to the right path. You know?
Yeah. 100%. 100%. That's dope, man.
So yeah, so a quick thing. This is why I have Noah with me because he has such a natural talent. He's a showman. He's an entertainer. He knows how to public speak. So that's something I just want to connect him with this opportunity because I'm still also learning how
Okay.
to do this whole virtual setup, all these systems. So what I know, I
Yeah.
want Noah to know because I know he's going to use it even better. He like as a leader, I want the people around me to be better leaders than me. So
Yes.
that's with Noah. Like he's so good at what he does. He's going to only get better, and who knows, man? We can see our future influencer, YouTube, whatever you want to be, Noah, man. You can do it. So we believe in
Hey,
you.
Noah, let me tell you something. The fact that you're doing this at 14 years old, you should be proud of yourself, man, because I know how scary it is. I know how nervous it is. Every time I go on live with somebody, every time I make a video with somebody, every time I put something out there, I'm nervous. I'm so scared. Like sometimes I feel like a knots in my stomach. But the one thing that there was this quote that I've seen when I was listening to a video, and ever since then, I've just my whole mindset is changed. But basically, it's pretty simple, but it says if you're gonna do something, do it afraid. Because at the end of the day, whether you do it afraid or not, you're still gonna be nervous no matter what. You're gonna be nervous not doing it or nervous doing it. So you might as well gain something out of it by doing it. So what you're doing right now, man, you're gonna look back at this and you're gonna be like, I'm so happy I started this off. Even though it's not necessarily the coolest thing, or like maybe you don't have a lot of your friends supporting you. At the end of the day, you remember you're doing this for yourself. You're not doing this for your friends. You're not doing this to make people like to gain followers, to look at this to be amazing. Like, especially with social media right now, I think it's very hard with kids because I think they're just trying to hop onto the next trend. They're trying to find something to do to get validation from people, from friends, from peers. But at the end of the day, that's not really gonna help them out. That's not really gonna make them find what they really want to. Like if you have something and you really have a passion for it, and it may not be the most popular thing, stop looking at everybody else. Like don't do that. Just stick to yourself, put your head down and just work on what you got going, because at the end of the day, it's gonna help you get further in life than doing those things that never really meant anything to you.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Right? Because when I was cutting hair, when I was 18, 19, cutting hair in my basement, Friday nights, all my friends are going out, they're going to parties. At 18, 19 years old, that's when it's like we're going to the club, we're going out, man, we're doing everything. And I was literally in my basement and I was cutting hair. And all of my friends would be like, man, come out, come out, come out, come out. And I was like, nah, bro, I want to cut, I'm cutting hair. And there was times where I really did want to just not cut hair. I was tempted to go and hang out with them. But at the end of the day, I made a promise to myself. I remember I made a promise to myself, and I had to stick to the path that I was going down. And the road to success is lonely sometimes. It's scary. You get sad, but that's the thing. For me, a lot of people only see success and they don't see the journey that comes along with it. They want what it looks like, but they don't want what it feels like. Right? And for me, I'm on the opposite. I don't look at the success, because when I look at success, I ask myself, what is your definition of success? Because everybody has a different definition. When I see success, I see an end, and I don't ever want to end. I crave the journey. That's what I crave. So from when I was cutting in the basement to when I went to all the barbershops, when I got paid $50 to when I almost got arrested for trying to handle business cards, I could have easily been like, man, I don't want to do this no more. It's hard, but I made a promise myself to keep going with the journey, because the journey is what I crave, not the success. So even for the young people that are watching this, like, crave the journey, crave everything that you do, embrace it. Embrace fear like it's a loved one. Like, if you're scared about it, just do it, because that means that you're doing something good for yourself. Like, one thing that my mom always told me, she said it only gets comfortable after you're uncomfortable.
Mm.
When you're doing something new, like for instance, we're talking right now, and you're trying to say something to somebody that you never done before, you're gonna be uncomfortable because you never done it before. It's like trying to bungee jump for the first time. You're not gonna be comfortable bungee jumping, but after you do it a couple times, maybe it's not gonna be comfortable, but it might not be as bad as it was the last 3 times that you did it. Now I just use bungee jumping as like an extreme.
For sure.
So you're really like this. The first time you talk to somebody, right? Even for me, the first time I went out and handed out a business card to somebody and talked to somebody at 18 years old, like, my hand was shaking. I didn't even know how to speak.
Mm.
After I did it a couple times, after I did it a couple more times, I started getting so comfortable. Now I still do get nervous, but it's like a good nervous,
Mm.
you know? Like, it makes me want to drive nervous because I know it's gonna better me, not something that's gonna push me back.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just the practice. The more you do it, little by little, you're gonna do it better. So first time, if you completely mess up, the second time it's gonna be a little bit better. So you just gotta
Oh yeah.
keep doing it, keep trying. It doesn't matter because that's where I think I was doing this online coaching thing, and he was saying you need about like 500. I think it was 500 or 5,000 hours of doing your thing, and that's where you become a master of it. So just like
Mhm.
Michael Jordan, every day he'd be shooting, he'd be shooting, he'd be shooting, and you know he's he's one of the greatest now for a reason. He put in that
Yeah.
work. So
Yeah. Like, with anything, even with anything that you do, like, it's easy to get discouraged, but if you don't do it and if you stop yourself, I tell people that you're literally holding yourself back from getting successful, from getting to the point where you're going to be confident doing it, right? Because every time you do something and it comes out not good, the next time you do it, it's going to come out a little less not good. And then the more you chip away, eventually you're going to reach your goal of doing it amazing. I remember when I did my first haircut, when I did my first couple haircuts, they were horrible.
mm,
I could have easily gave up because I was like, man, I spent 3 hours. I would spend 3 hours on a haircut. 3 hours on a haircut. And it was really bad. And I'm just like, why am I still doing this?
yeah.
Right. But I changed my mindset and I was like, okay, today I took 3 hours, but this line is kind of going away. And then the next time I cut hair, I'm like, I dropped it down to 2 hours and 50 minutes. That's 10 minutes that I saved. That means I'm getting a little bit better. And then as time went by, I kept noticing and I kept applauding myself and giving myself pats on the back for all these little accomplishments that I did. Like, everybody, that's one thing too. Also, everybody they only look for the big accomplishment. They never look for the little goals, right?
Yeah.
It's the same meaning as this. Small steps equal great distances. Before you even start running, everybody wants to run 100 meters. They want to run like Usain Bolt. But before that, you got to wake up. Before you even start running, you got to wake up. And after that, you got to sit up. And then after that, you got to put your socks on. And then you got to get up. And then you got to start walking. Then you got to stretch. And then you start jogging. And then you start running. Like, it's a whole process.
Mm.
Everybody just wants to just get to the point where they can just be at full speed, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I try to tell the kids all the time. Like, you have to love the process. You have to learn to embrace it and learn to love it, because like, a lot of these kids are 14 years old. You can't really become a millionaire at 14 years old. For the most ones, you can't. There's some that you can, but at the end of the day, it's a long road. Just understand that if you're 14, you still have a good 70 years of life. So you got to be doing something within that 70 years. So you might as well enjoy the process and not try and just want to get to success.
Yeah, that's true. And especially, I guess it's also the culture, like with social media, the things we see is very instant gratification. We see these big celebrities, these, very popular people, and we see that success, and it's like, wow, or even ads. Hey, I used to work at 9 to 5, and I got sick and tired of it. And then now somehow I'm making money. If you want to make money in 3 easy steps, just click on the link, right? And then people want
Hmm.
that. Yo, 3 easy steps is just three. But realistically, it's that process, the hard work, that time. We don't see that time that people have invested in their art, in their work, what they mastered. So it's really about, so speaking onto what you're saying, that's the reality, right? Like we have to work hard. We have to put time into what we do, and you got to love it. Find that passion, whatever you're passionate about, go for it.
Mhm. Literally, and this is where it comes back to when me as 21 years old, I still cut hair like I'm 18, like when I first started cutting, and that was for free and loving to do what I love to do, not because of the money that I make. The money that I make from it only fuels me for the passion that I have to put towards that, right? So the money that I make, I don't see that. It goes back to my business. It goes back to helping out. Like I did something with the Young Street Mission where for every haircut we gave $1. We ended up giving almost $1,000, right? Like every all these the kids and everybody just in life, they look at a way to make money from their passion, which is good, but at the same time, first you actually want to love your passion before you even think about making money from it. And bro, I see kids nowadays at 14, 15 years old that are already trying to open up businesses, already trying to, you know what I mean? Say, I want to make 50,000, I want to make 100,000. And I'm like, that's really good. Trust me, you want to do it, but you gotta first be a kid. You gotta first love living life, right?
Mm.
So many kids put so much pressure on their shoulders. I think that's why there's so much mental health problems and so much bullying and so much things going on because everybody just wants to get to the top so quick, but nobody wants to be a kid again. Nobody wants to just enjoy life and just live by the basic rules of life and understand what true happiness means, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what I tell kids all the time, like enjoy what you do, enjoy being a kid, because when you get older, you're gonna wish that you were a kid again.
100%. Yo, no, you're hearing it here from old guys right here, bro. Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Trust me, once you get a beard or if you get some gray hairs, then that's when your life changes. But
There's
until
no
then,
going back.
no, you want to live your life, man. Enjoy doing what you do. Do it for the sole passion of it. If you pick up things that you love doing that you never thought you would, do it. Do it. Try as much things as you can. That's the only advice I could give you. Try as much things that you can.
Yeah, 100%. So, Noah, and even you, Carlos, I just kind of want to put this little moment up there. Just a little lighthearted moment. What was the worst haircut you've ever gotten? And so tell us about that.
Gotten or given? I could do on both.
Let's go with both then for you.
Okay, so I want to talk about the gotten. All right, so this was pretty bad. This was the day before I was going to Portugal and I wanted to look good. So I went to the barbershop that I usually go to. They charge like $12 a haircut. And I went to this one guy. So my regular guy wasn't there. And I was like, damn, like I don't know if I should trust this guy, but I was like, I gotta get a haircut. So it was this random Jamaican guy, and I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, I told him I wanted just a little bit off the top, and I wanted to get like a low fade. He was like, all right. He ended up giving me like a number 1 on the top, which was nowhere near what the number I had on my head. Like a
Yeah.
number 1, so short. And he ended up giving me like a
Oh,
fade that was like up to here, like literally like right up to my
Jeez.
temple. I was like, no, man. And honestly, that wasn't even really the worst part because at this point I had a little mustache and a little goatee. So I was like, all right, I was like, just please line up my mustache and just line up my goatee a little bit. He's like, all right. He shaved off my mustache. I was like, no way. I was like, no way, do that. Like I literally looked at him and I'm like, why? I'm like, why did you just do that? And he was just like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I'm like, oh man. I shaved off everything. I had to shave off my goatee. I look like a total different person. I just wasn't happy. I was so mad. I was so sad, bro. But that was probably the worst. That was probably the worst haircut I ever gotten. And then the worst haircut I ever given. Ooh, man. I wouldn't necessarily say like. Honestly, the worst haircut I ever given was on myself. It was really bad. Like, I went to soccer practice, and I remember I was getting changed, and in the background I hear, and I turn around, I'm like, whoa, why are you guys making that noise? And they're like, bro, your head looks like a racetrack, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm like, oh my god. But I think the worst haircut that I ever given. It was bad because I ended up having to shave his head. Like he kind of had like a comb over, and this one I didn't know nothing about, like scissor work or anything. I just knew how to fade hair. So he wanted to do something, and I remember I brought like the crown of his head. I brought it like up to like here, like with like a number, like I would like the machine, and I was like, oh my god. And I ended up having to shave it down to like a number 2 because it was very low. And that was probably like really bad. That was probably really bad. There was also another one. I actually ended up cutting somebody's nose.
What? How do you cut someone's nose, man?
Exactly. I tell people that, and they're like, "Bro, how do you cut somebody's nose?" It's because I was lining up his mustache, and I was getting around like closer to the point where the nose is, and the back of the razor sliced his nose, and I was like, no way. I was like, bro, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. This is when I first started cutting hair. Yeah. And he came all the way from Scarborough to see me. I'm like, I'm sorry. He's like, don't worry, man. It's all good. After he said that, I'm like, yeah, you're not coming back. I'm like, you're not coming back. And he never came back. He never came back.
Yeah.
I've had my fair share of bad haircuts. I've had an experience where I did a bad haircut and some guy, he threw money at my face. It was really bad. What else? I just had like stuff where people caught me on spot and they're like, bro, like this is not what I wanted. Like, why did you give me this? But for the most part, like, I don't know why. Since I put so much effort and determination into it, I got good really quickly. Right? But that's because I put so much time and dedication into it. Like I would literally spend like maybe out of the 12 hours that I was awake or even more, I probably spent like 3/4 of it just watching videos on cutting hair.
Yeah. So
I think I flourished, and I would spend so much time on people's hair to the point where I didn't let them leave if it wasn't like satisfactory, you know.
Mm-hmm. So we have a comment right here. It's just saying that I need a fresh fade in lineup.
Hey, hit me up on
Instagram. Take it easy.
Check me out on Instagram.
Yeah, for real. Check him out. So Brazycuts. We'll link his stuff on our IG. Check him out. We already have some of his things there. We're gonna post this video on our IG and YouTube, all that. So make sure you definitely follow. So let's hear Noah. Noah, what was your worst haircut?
My worst haircut?
Yeah.
I used to get cut by my dad. So it would just be
Bro, that's the word. You have no choice. You have no choice.
I always used to get the ball cut. It was like a ball cut. Or like a ball cut. And you just like
the tradition.
I think it's the worst when your family does it because you can't really say anything. You just gotta go into the room and cry, you know?
It's so heartbreaking.
It is. You put that trust in them, right? And in your mind, you're expecting something good. Then you see yourself in the mirror and you're like, yo, what is this?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Hey man, this is not gonna come out that bad. It's gonna come out good. And the next thing you know, you look at yourself, you're like, oh my god, I can't go to school.
Yeah, yo, that happened to me.
When I get the mirror, I look myself, I'm like, there's just tears all over my eye, I swear. I couldn't stop laughing. It was so funny.
I forgot to tell you guys, I think there was actually one time where it was the worst thing that ever happened to me. So this is when the eyebrow slit started coming into fashion when I was younger. I was probably like in grade 5 or grade 6. And I went away with my mom and my sister. Like, I think we went to Niagara Falls for the weekend. And I was just like, I started seeing all my friends do it. And I'm like, I want to do it, but I didn't know how to do it. So I remember I went to the washroom and I grabbed like the regular razor that I used to like shave like your armpits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just gonna give myself a little tick. So I was about to do it, and I had it right up to my eyebrow, and then the door opened, and I went like this. Bro, half of my eyebrow was gone.
Gee.
Oh man.
So I had to go to school the next day because it was Sunday. And what happened was my sister actually drew eyeliner on my eyebrow. And and when I went to school, it was summertime. When I went to school, I went out to recess, and people looked at me and they're like, bro, why is your eyebrow melting? And I'm like, oh my god, my eyebrow was dripping because of the mascara. It was dripping.
Oh
I
no.
ended up going to school with after that
Oh.
that next day. I ended up going to school with a band-aid on my eyebrow because like, bro, I can't do this.
Yo, for real,
Oh.
man. Nelly style, eh?
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me.
There was
Yeah.
for myself, it was
Have you ever been through a bad haircut experience?
yeah, no, for me, definitely, bro. So what was it called? It was picture day. I think it was what, grade 5? So my mom before she would always cut my hair. You know, back in the day, you know, for us it was the spiky look, right? You know, you put your hair
Yeah.
out frosted tips kind of style. So I was like, all right, mom, like, you know, my hair's kind of long. Can you please cut my hair? So, you know, washroom, she put everything, she set it up. So she starts cutting my hair with the machine and she stopped paying attention. She looked away and she cut too much on top. It was zzz. And so to me, in my head, yo, I'm getting the spiky haircut my mom always used to give me. It was so awesome. I'm gonna look good, you know? And so she finishes up, she books it out of the washroom like so fast. So I get up. When I look in the mirror, I'm like, Mom! Like I started just screaming. I started crying. First thing she does, here's $20. You know, you go get a haircut, you pay the barber, but yo, she paid me, man. It's like that's how bad the haircut was. So picture day, I was not having it. That was I look so angry. I'm just like buzz cut like, doing that. Like, oh man, it was the worst.
Yeah. What about now? Like in your recent ages?
So for me now, yo, I research the barber. So my cousin
Mm.
has his own shop up in Vaughan. That's the only
Okay.
place I go because I know they're not gonna mess up, just like with the guys. But it's scary, you know, like going to a new
Oh,
place
yeah.
because you don't know if you're gonna get the cut you want. So that's where I'm at right now.
What's the shop that he owns?
It's called Vintage Barbershop. So it's like right in front of Canada's Wonderland. So there's a little
Oh, okay.
plaza
That's
there.
dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, man. A lot of people don't think choosing their barber is important, but that's somebody that's gonna stick with you for life, potentially.
Yeah. So, all right. So I think this is such a perfect way into what we also want to share with you. So we'll switch it up. We're gonna go watch a video right now, just to get everyone's live reactions into the video. So I think, from my understanding, you guys haven't watched that video yet.
No.
So should be good. Just get some fresh reactions. I did send the video on the link, so if you guys want to watch it, you can mute yourself so we're not fully hearing double of that. So all right, let's get started. So got the volume up. All right, we're good to go.
Let's get started.
Damn, bro, that booty is popping. Where she got it from? She got it from her mama. That booty talking to me. Girl, hello. That booty talking to me. Girl, hello. Damn, man, that booty is popping. Where she get it from? She got it from her mama. That booty talking to me. Girl, hello. That booty talking to me. Girl, hello.
Oh, yo, wait, hold on.
Introducing the new Xenon
Those are
300.
Xenon 300s. Do you understand? I would kill for those clippers.
Bro, $500 for what?
I think they probably get their gold from Zamona.
Bro, that's a waste of money.
Shop.
Listen, you wouldn't understand, okay? I'm the barber, you're the client. My
I
job
know,
is
I
to
know.
continue to make you look good. All right?
I love you.
I love you.
I love you too.
Junior the barber, not available right now. Leave a message. I'll hit you back.
Yo,
Is
what's
there
up,
supposed to
Junior?
be
Yo,
volume?
hey,
'Cause I
I've been
can't hear
calling you
anything.
all day. I really need a haircut right now.
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
You can't hear the video.
Yeah, I
No, I
can't.
thought it was just the audio. I mean the visual.
Sorry, the visual or the audio?
Like no, like I thought there was just visual. I can't hear audio.
So
I
yeah,
hear
so that's why I sent you guys the link. Just check it out. Just because what you guys are watching it is just the visual, no audio on your receiving end. What you see, but just click on the YouTube link, and you guys should be able to see it. Like, yep.
Okay.
I think we're a minute in. So yeah, watch it from the beginning here. So we can fully dive into it. You know, just talk about it. So Carlos will definitely relate, as you know. You'll see from the client side and also the business side.
Did you send it through email?
I sent it on the Google chat, the video chat we're on right now. So it should be there.
Okay. Let me check it real quick.
Here, I can send it again. Do you have it, Noah?
Yeah, I already got on it.
All right. Check it out. Here, I'll send it to you, your IG, Carlos.
Okay, cool.
There you go. All right, sent.
Okay, I'll start it from where you.
No. Go ahead. Go. I'll restart it also. So you know, we'll watch it again. We'll
Okay.
watch it again from the beginning. No problem.
You know what this song is? Damn, bro, that booty is poppin'. Where she got it from? She got it from her mama. That booty talking to me. Girl, hello. That booty talking to me. Girl, hello. Damn, man, that booty is poppin'.
This is so
She
relatable.
got it from her mama. That booty talking to me.
Bro.
Girl, hello. That booty talking
This
to
happens
me.
on Fridays, yo.
Oh, yo, wait. Hold on.
Introducing the new Xenon
Those are
300.
Xenon 300s. Do you understand? I would kill for those clippers.
Bro, $500 for what?
I think they probably get their gold from Zamunda.
Bro, that's a waste of money.
Chance.
You wouldn't understand, okay? I'm the barber, you're the client. My job is to continue to make you look good. All right? I love you.
Yeah, people don't understand how expensive
Junior
stuff
Barber,
is.
not available right now. You know, leave a message. I'll hit you back. Right now.
Yo, what's up, Junior? Yo, hey, I've been calling you all day. I really need a haircut right now. I got a wedding to go to in 2 hours. Please call me back. Bye.
Hey, you need a haircut?
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yes.
Don't do it.
Bro, what's up, man? What's up?
Hey, how's it going, bro?
How you
Yeah.
been?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. What's been good with you?
Damn.
Oh, I got caught.
You got caught, bro.
Oh, I got caught.
Damn. Yeah, you got
You
your
getting a
stuff
haircut by
messed
somebody else?
up, bro.
You getting a haircut by someone else? No. And then why you got a fresh cut?
You know my hair grows out slow.
It's nice.
My hair just grows out slow.
Oh, why you got hair residue on your shirt? Oh, someone else's hair, really? If it's someone else's hair, then you have no problem with me smelling your neck, right?
Nah, I'm okay with that. I
Oh my god.
What?
Don't touch me.
Baby, Barber.
I see you.
You didn't answer my phone call, but you know me.
That's a baby barber.
This will never happen again.
I see you.
Look, hey.
Damn, that's how it be sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
Broke his heart.
Oh my god.
That trust, man.
Damn.
What? How can you do this to me?
2 weeks later. This was long. Oh, yo.
Yo, Carlos be doing that to, you know, his customers. You guys
Bro.
watch out, man.
What's up, man?
I told him, go find that barber one time.
We're closed.
We close at 9.
It's 9. Next.
Hey, I just wanted a haircut, man.
Yup.
You know what? Go back to your other barber.
I said I was sorry.
Hello.
Just around the bend.
Where up, my boy? We should go.
Oh man.
Yo, Carlos in his early days, yo, that
Still-
plastic, the garbage bag there,
Still,
eh?
bro.
Yeah, I didn't even have the plastic bag most of the time. Oh my god,
My
bro.
bad, bro.
Felt that.
My bad, bro.
It's crazy because I used to wear that white tee to the white beard like that. Yeah, put the hat on. Put the hat on. You know you messed up. Put the hat on. Put the hat on. Now you're gonna be like, bro, I miss you. I'm sorry. I've had enough of these, man. Oh my god.
Hey! We have to talk.
Talk about what?
Us. Please, hear me out.
I'm telling you,
Okay.
people think that like it's a relationship
I'm
you have
sorry.
with
It is, man.
Oh my god, it's raining.
I was there for you. You know how many customers I got waiting on me?
No, and I'm a jerk. I know.
When you didn't have money, guess who was like, I got you. You my family. Me.
That's Barbara, I promise.
But then I see you with somebody else who pushed your hairline back to the 70s. I love you.
I'm so sorry. That booty talking
You
to
really
me.
trying.
Girl, hello. That booty talking to me. Girl, hello. Damn.
Yeah, that looks proper. What she got? She got mama.
Hey, I got something for you. Just like you wanted.
No, he got the scissors. Oh, he think he can go back to that.
They're very expensive, man.
I can't lie. I go back to him.
Yo, if the Xenon 9000 for sure.
I go back. Oh, that's dope. That's fire. That's fire. That was a funny video, man.
That was good.
That was a funny video.
That was good,
Hey.
man.
Man, oh my god. That honestly, I've been through so many situations like that. Like there's been because when I do something, I do it from the heart. Like I take care of everybody. I make sure I take care of everybody. Like there's not days where even when I'm not feeling the best, like you know how many times there's been so many times I've taken out my lunch to fit somebody in that like that they're like, please, bro, I need it. And I'm like, don't worry, I got you. They don't even know that I take out my lunch just to take care of them and stuff like that. And like a week later, I'll see them get another haircut by somebody else, and I'll just be like, I'll just ask myself like, and it's crazy because the haircut's not even that good, and I'm like, why am I doing this for somebody?
Yeah.
I think honestly, like as funny as that video may be, like it does get serious because, being a barber is a very labor job, like a very very hard labor job. You have to stand on your feet for a long time. You know, like sometimes you don't even eat. I give myself 15-minute lunch breaks. I barely eat. Like there's days sometimes I don't eat throughout the whole day. I'll just drink water. And I do it for the people that I care about, you know, like I do it for the people that I love and the people that I care about. But there's been multiple cases where I've done stuff for people from the bottom of my heart, obviously. And like, for instance, squeezing them in an appointment, you know, getting them after hours, before hours, not charging them, just putting them genuinely from the love. And then a week later, 2 weeks later, I see them go get a haircut by somebody else. I'll be like, bro, you're not worth it. I'm not gonna fit you in. And then they'll hit me back, bro, I need a cut. I'm like, okay, go in the waiting line like everybody else. You know, go in the waiting line like everybody else. And people just think, that's the thing, like people think that they can just call you whenever or just message you whenever or just be like, I need this, I need that, I need that. But as funny as it may seem, that happens very often, and it's really made me realize that I have to give myself like value.
Yep.
Because when you don't give yourself value, people will keep running you over. Like, for instance, one thing that I do is, I know everybody has busy lives and whatnot and stuff like that, but whenever people cancel on me, I charge them. If it's the first time and if it's a valid reason, like I had to take care of something, I had to do this, okay, fine, I understand that. Don't worry, I'm not a harsh guy. If you have to go pick up your daughter, like if it's family related stuff, cool. But if you don't answer my phone calls, if you just don't show up to the appointment, I tell them, you're not gonna come into my chair unless you pay me for my time. And there's people that get mad and there's people that don't get mad. But I tell everybody at the end of the day, they will, if I allow them to slide one time, then they'll keep sliding, they'll keep thinking it's okay until the one point where I say it's enough is enough, and then they'll be like, bro, what happened to all the other times?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that video is funny, but it really makes you realize like your true worth. Like, you have to give yourself value, because if you don't, then nobody else will. People will step over you every single day. If you tell them from the first point on, like, this is what I charge, this is what I do, this is my value, whatever it may be, they either have to respect it or they either have to leave.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's really applicable, even to, for example, for
life.
life, and especially youth that they're still looking for who they are, who are they really inside, and so just valuing that. If someone is naturally goofy, go just be goofy, be silly. That goes a long way, as character, but they don't value themselves as much, and it goes with relationships, all that stuff. So I think that's very applicable in life. Yeah.
You have to value yourself, especially as a kid, because as a kid you have the most energy. You have things that you can offer that adults can't, and that is life, more life than anybody else. It's funny because I feel like kids breathe more life into this generation than adults do, and they provide more wealth and more laughter than adults do, right? So the way I see it, if it wasn't for the kids valuing their funniness, their goofiness, all this stuff, then realistically there wouldn't be happy adults, because if you listen to adults, half the things that they say make them happy is their kids.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because the kids are funny, the kids are bouncy, the kids, you know what I mean? They do things to that are good. They do things that are they value their life, they value their stuff. Adults, if it wasn't for kids, half the time they wouldn't be happy.
That's good.
Yeah, that video was funny. That video was very funny.
Yeah, so I'm glad that was the first time you saw it. So got some fresh reactions.
I'm gonna post it on my story. I'm gonna post it on my Instagram story after this.
You gotta. So warn your clients. Hey, if you guys think of going somewhere else, you know what to expect.
Hey, I told them, like, if you go somewhere else, don't come back expecting to get to make me squeeze you in or make me put you in. You gotta get on the waiting list. You got to, because I'm not gonna deal with that. If you want to go get a haircut by Bobby, go get a haircut by Bobby. But
yeah.
And it's actually funny, but a lot of people, the reason why they usually go to other barbers is because as you get busier, you end up raising up your price. It's inflation. The more busier you get, you do it because you don't want to be as busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of times when I did end up doing that, because now I charge $40 a haircut. Before I did not used to charge that. But now that I do, there's a lot of the people, they're like, "Oh, you're too expensive," and I'm like, "Okay, I'm too expensive." I don't really hold on to them. I don't hold a grudge. I don't get mad if people leave, because at the end of the day, like I said, I know my value. There's people, literally 75% of the people that have left have come back. They would go, they would experience a cheaper haircut, but they would get a different service.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's one thing I'm so keen on is, yes, I gotta make sure I give a good haircut, but I want to give an amazing service.
For sure.
Like, one thing that I tell myself all the time is, if that person doesn't either laugh or cry when he's in the chair, then you haven't given them an experience. Because those are very two high emotions. At the end of the day, the barbershop is a place where men in general come to, one, relax, and two, it's like their safe spot. They say things that they don't even say to the wife. Like, I know a lot of things. I could be a gossip queen. I know a lot of things that people talk about. Like, people literally feel like they can express everything they're going through, whether it's good, bad, whether they're sad, whether I've had people cry in my chair. I've had people like laugh of joy in my chair, right? At the end of the day, I tell people the reason why people come to me is not just because of my haircut, is because of the experience. Because a haircut grows back in 2-3 days, but an experience lasts a lifetime.
True. Yeah.
Right.
100%. Also, going back, you get for what you pay. So if you're paying a $12 haircut, the quality's gonna be a $12 haircut. $40 haircut, you're gonna get that good quality. So
yeah,
it's definitely goes a long way.
100%, man.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you seen have you seen his IG stuff? His cuts, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I followed him this morning.
Top notch.
Oh yeah.
Man.
What's your Instagram?
Berhanoah._.
Okay, give me 1 sec. What is it called?
BERHANE, and then my name.
I'm gonna,
and then you'll see like a ._ thing.
I don't think I can find it.
Let me put BERH. Start with that.
BERH. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I just sent you a follow back. I seen this. I was just like, who is this? Oh, okay. I just checked the story. Yeah, I just sent you a follow. Dope. Yeah, no, I take pride in my haircut. I make sure I do hour services. So I make sure that within the hour, like, don't get me wrong, I could do a haircut in, I posted pictures. I've done haircuts in 15 minutes, right? I've done haircuts in 5 minutes. I've done haircuts like very short. I could do haircuts quick if I really wanted to. But for me, I personally don't feel like that's enough. Like, don't get me wrong. There's times where people are like, yo, I'm in a rush. I gotta get in and out 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, cool. But there also are other people that are like, want to really talk about the day. You know what I mean? They want the whole experience. They want to sit down, because everybody that sits in my chair is like family. That's the way I treat it, like their family, whether they're young or older. Like, I just had a little kid. I went to go cut his hair, and it was his graduation shoot. And he was talking to me about his day, how he's been and stuff like that. And it's like, it doesn't matter. For me, it doesn't matter how old you are or young you are. People want to talk. Everybody wants to talk. Everybody wants to let off some, whether it's good news, bad news. So I just always make sure I give that experience. I let them feel like they're safe, Yeah,
100%. And one thing I just even thinking kind of ahead of, once COVID goes down, all that stuff. Even if we can continue collaborating, Carlos, like I got youth that that are interested, and I just want to expose them to different opportunities. So like, hopefully we can continue being in contact, and we'll do some good stuff for the youth.
Oh yeah, like one of the big things that I really wanted to do, but COVID kind of stopped it, which is okay. Was there's a school by my shop, and I was actually in the works of making a barbering program at the school, because barbering is a trade. As much my goal is to expose people and let them know that, okay, yes, I didn't grow up in the best situation, but at the end of the day, I still found something to make way of it. And I think a lot of people don't look at barbering as a life trait. They don't look at it as like, yo, like this can actually help you towards your life. This can actually be something that you could do for your life.
A career, yeah.
Yes, as a career. So that's something that I really wanted to do. But we could definitely run something. I really want to run some type of program. I do classes already. So my education, I'm learning every single day how to educate. But education is something that I take very seriously, and I always wanted to educate the youth. Always wanted to educate.
Yeah, we'll definitely brainstorm, and we'll find the right time. Everything's in seasons. There's always a season to do things, and so I'm really glad that you're able to join us today. So we're gonna just wrap it up. So before we finish, just kind of want to leave it to you. So for those that are watching and that are going to watch, what's something that you currently have right now, what you're working on, that they can expect?
Okay, so tomorrow, guys, I'm gonna be, for anybody that's actually interested in trying to learn how to cut hair or just would like to watch a video, I'm gonna be dropping my first YouTube video tomorrow. It's gonna be a cool video. literally me going in depth about explaining how I do my step-by-step haircut. The whole thing is like a 16, 17-minute video. I'm going to be posting it. Well, I'm going to post a teaser tonight on my Instagram. So if you guys want, check out my Instagram at Brazycuts. Also, for anybody watching, I'm doing a giveaway at my barbershop. I'm doing three winners. There's 3 winners. So the first winner is going to be getting a free pair of Air Force Ones, custom Air Force Ones. So you can literally customize it whatever you want. You could want to put Gucci, anything, customize it. And I know you kids want to look fly, so we're doing that for the first prize. The second prize, you're getting 3 free haircuts from me. So you're getting $120 worth of free haircuts, which is dope. And then the third prize, you're getting a pair of free babe socks.
Okay.
And these babe socks go for $200 on the market, and they're not. Because the guy that I work with, he resells shoes and stuff like that. You can't find these no more. These are not being sold no more. So we're doing a giveaway for the shop. Check that out. It's at Brazycuts Barbershop. And I'm also doing a podcast. A podcast I'm doing is getting dropped on Monday. And this is just a podcast about me as a young entrepreneur. Same thing I'm on here. I'm going to be speaking about my life and just everything I went through, my mindset, how I think about things, how I go into things, and just really talking. So those are some of the things that I got going on, man. Besides that, yeah, I also got education. I got classes. So for anybody that's interested in trying to learn how to cut hair, I do have an academy. Right now it's called Brazycuts Barber Academy. It's on the come up. We're growing. I do one-on-one classes. I also do group classes. And nearly in the future, hopefully to run programs with anybody that's willing to, like Ovol or anybody else. So yeah, those are just some of the things I got going on.
All right, awesome. Definitely, we'll make sure to even share that stuff. And really looking forward to us doing something in the future, near future, whatever it is, man.
100%.
I'm bored. Anything from you, Noah? Any last words? Close us
Not
off.
going on, Noah.
Last words? Yeah, it's a good experience. I like talking about things like this.
Hey, Noah, you got any questions as a young adult, because you are becoming an adult, that you got towards me that you think you wanted to ask or anything like that? If not, it's cool. But if you do, then let me know.
Well, I have like one question.
All right.
Like when you first opened up your business, like did it take a toll on how much it cost it? Like in Toronto, things cost a lot, to like open up things.
100%. I had to save. I had to save money. I never, before the whole year before I opened up my barbershop, I never went out. I didn't go out. I didn't spend money. I really minimized the amount of money that I spent. I made sure that I had enough to cover for me. I made sure I had to enough to cover for at least 3 to 4 months of whatever the rent may be or whatever the situation may be. Before opening up my barbershop, I created a spreadsheet of everything that was gonna cost, or anything that was gonna cost money. So when I came to opening my barbershop now is about to have 7 chairs. At first, it had only 3 chairs. And when I started, I scaled out everything that was going to cost something. So whether it was a garbage bag, whether it was a garbage bin, whether it was a floor mat, like everything I literally wrote down, and I ballparked how much it was going to cost. And when I did that, I had to make sure that I had that plus 3 months of whatever the rent was. So yeah, of course. The one thing that I can say, and I always tell people, is this: when you're in your 20s, yes, you want to make money, but at the end of the day, if you're gonna build something that's gonna grow in the future, don't look at the money. Look at what's gonna help you grow more. So everything that I gained from this barbershop, I don't take it as income. So my goal is to open up multiple barbershops. So the income that comes from this barbershop, I'm not paying myself. The income that I make, I'm not paying myself. I'm gonna use that towards building my other barbershop. So yeah, of course it cost money. It did cost money. But at the end of the day, the money was never the success for me. The money was never the vision for me. It was always the bigger plan that I had, or that I have.
All right.
Anything else, Noah? Or that's all you got?
And I think that's it, to be honest.
All right,
Other than that,
you have me on Instagram. So if you got any questions, bro, hit me up, man.
all right.
All right, awesome. Thanks a lot, Carlos. And like we said, for those tuning in and those that will watch the recording, check out Carlos at Brazycuts Barbershop.
Yep.
Amazing stuff. He's doing really good things and
Thank you, man.
amazing human being. So just want to just put that out there. So
Thank
next
you.
week we'll be connecting again. We're gonna continue, like our bullying series. So for those, keep us on the radar. We're trying to one of our goals right now within Twitch, get 50 followers. So
I see that goal.
yeah, we're gonna get there. We got 5 so far. I think 3 people followed us today this session. So little by little, we're gonna get there, Noah. So looking forward to that.
Small steps to great distances, guys. You guys are gonna get there. Trust me.
I believe it. So thank you, everyone, and have an amazing week. And just keep believing. Believe in yourself.
Yep.
Dream big, because that is the first step.
100%, 100%. And thank you guys for having me on here. I really do appreciate that, man. Like I said, I love everything you guys are doing, and this is something that I wish I had as a child, as a youth. So for anybody that's watching this, send this to your friends, send this to anybody that you think will benefit this as a young adult, because they're only here to help you guys. That's literally it. It may seem like, oh, it's not as entertaining or not as like fun, but at the end of the day, these programs is what's literally going to help you guys grow to becoming amazing people. So make sure that you send this to your friends. I'll be reposting this on my story because I think this is really good. But yeah, thank you guys once again. Thank you, Noah. Thank you, Christian, for having me on here. You guys have been amazing hosts. You guys got to give a round of applause for yourself. You guys are doing amazing. Especially you, Noah. Especially you, Noah. You're doing an amazing job. 14 years old, man. Keep it up. Keep hustling. Keep having the faith, and just like I said, be your best friend. Don't put yourself down. Whenever you're in a sad mood, just be like, okay, I got to cheer myself up because tomorrow's a better day. You never know what can happen. So just have that faith and believe.
That's what it is. All right. Take care.